for January 20, 2026 is hereby called to order at 5:03 p.m. The clerk please call the roll.
Alderman Barrero.
Here.
Alderwoman Garza.
Here.
Alderman Masiacos.
Present.
Alderman Nunez.
Here.
Alderman Franco.
Here.
Alderman Seville.
Here.
Alderman Benuelos.
Here.
Alderwoman Smith. Here. Alderman Bug.
Here.
Alderwoman Bade.
Here.
Alderman Larson.
Here.
Alderman White.
Here.
Mayor Lesh is present.
Next, I'll ask the clerk to please read the first item on the agenda, approval of the minutes.
260013, approval of the minutes of the Tuesday, January 6, 2026 Committee of the Whole meeting.
Is there a motion to approve the
Second.
minutes of Tuesday, January 6, 2026? Committee of the whole meeting as presented. A motion was made by Alderman Franco, second by Alderwoman Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries by voice vote. Next, we'll move to the mayor's report. Thank you, John.
Thank you so much, Mayor. What an action-packed couple of days we had here in Aurora. We kicked off the week yesterday with the 41st Annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day ceremony over at East Aurora High School. Hundreds attended, awards were given out, there were youth workshops, and a keynote address by Chicago Teachers Union President and Illinois Federation of Teachers President Stacey Davis Gates. It was really a great event. We appreciate the community for coming out. Our talented video team put together a recap of the event that we're going to watch right now. Applause for everybody who made the event possible. Really amazing event here in Aurora last night. So the 42nd annual Martin Luther King Day will be next year, so we'll be sure to celebrate again, and we look forward to seeing more people come out. Restaurant Week begins today here in Aurora. It goes all the way through February 3rd. It's a big event. 50-plus restaurants are going to be participating, and here this morning, actually, Fox 32 came out and did a live report from La Quinta de los Reyes here in Aurora, downtown, to sample their cuisine. I look forward to what they're going to be doing during Restaurant Week. As a reminder, you can look at all the participating restaurants, see their special menus and discounts by going to aurorarestaurantweek.com. So let's see what Good Day Chicago had to say about Aurora. They were here in downtown today.
Get your knives, your forks, and your appetite ready, and let's head to Aurora. Aurora's Restaurant Week officially kicks off today, and this morning we are talking to Downtown Economic Development Manager Danielle Tufano, one of my Facebook friends. Danielle, good to see you out here. And La Quinta de los Reyes owners, Claudia and Jesus. We'll get them in here in just a little bit to talk about the details at their place. All right, Danielle, thanks for joining us this morning. Tell us more about Aurora's Restaurant Week. How long does it go, and what can folks expect to enjoy there in Southern Kane County?
This is our second annual Aurora Restaurant Week. It runs from today through February 3rd. We have dozens of restaurants throughout Aurora offering prefix menus, discounted menus. No matter if you're looking for international flavor or something American, no matter what your budget is, you can find it at Aurora Restaurant Week.
All right.
And actually, we have Claudia right here, who's the owner of La Quinta de los Reyes. They've already made us some delicious food. My belly is growling so much.
Okay, well,
Danielle.
let's have Claudia discuss those, and also would you ask her to tell us what flavor margaritas we have, because my eyeballs immediately went to that.
So they're wondering what we have on the table here, specifically the margarita flavors.
Well, we have our house margarita, which is the lime margarita. Then we have the estuary margarita with a little bit of tajin. You know what that is? It's a little chilito, we call it. We have our homemade tortillas, wok, that we do table side. Here we have Maddie making the fresh wok that you should see when you come.
Claudia, you being a participant for the second year now, what are you guys offering for Aurora Restaurant Week?
We have burrito suizo. We have enchiladas. They're bringing so you can see the sizzling fajitas. And we have, as you see, guac, complimentary salsa and chips, desserts, and a homemade tortillas.
Yeah, you know that the guac is good when they're making it tableside. So,
Oh, yes.
there's
Yes.
a lot of stuff here, and Aurora's known for Mexican cuisine, but we also have Indian food, Italian food, everything featured at AuroraRestaurantWeek.com.
That's right.
What looks
Now-
good to you?
Yeah, so is this like all of those are those individual items, or is that like part of a prefix menu that they have there, Danielle?
So are you offering a prefix menu, Claudia, or is it individual items that are being discounted?
We do have starters, which is the guac and the chips. Then we have the discounted, like 25% discounted. And then we have the desserts. And we also have the drinks. So your average will be between $30 and $40. How about that?
Oh, that's a great deal.
Even with the drinks.
And it looks like we just got a nice plate of carne y camarones fajitas, right?
Yeah, what do you guys do special with your fajitas?
Okay, the fajitas, we have the fajita combo, although people can kind of make their own choice if they want just the chicken or the steak or the shrimp. But this is our sizzling fajitas, as you can see there.
It smells so good.
Oh, that looks fantastic.
Delicious.
We're
All right,
so
Dan.
excited. We can't wait to have you.
I wish I were there because I think I can smell it all the way from here downtown. Danielle, if people want more information about Aurora Restaurant Week, what's the best place to track down that info and maybe a list of all the restaurants participating?
You know, the great thing, too, about people who live closer to the city is the metro runs right into downtown Aurora, so it's quick and easy to get here. If you want to find a list of the participating restaurants, there's 50 plus as of right now, more being added daily. You can see the list of participating restaurants, what they have to offer at AuroraRestaurantWeek.com.
Outstanding, Danielle. Thank you for joining us, and thank Claudia for giving us a preview of their wonderful menu. And send me some of that homemade guacamole. I'm ready. And maybe one of the margaritas.
You got
too.
it.
Wonderful. Aurora
Thank
Restaurant
you. We can't
Week.
wait to see you guys. And we are one of the first ones right off of Metro. So you just got to do a little bit of walking. I know it's a little bit of cold, but, you know, you get here and then you have the margarita and the sizzling fajitas or whatever your choice. We also have veggie plates. So you know, too.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you both for being on with us this morning.
So Aurora Restaurant Week continues through February 3rd. Come on out, support all your local businesses, 50-plus restaurants. Again, go to AuroraRestaurantWeek.com, and you can see everything. I'm hungry just watching that segment, so I'm pretty excited, too. It's going to be great. And finally, a big day here in Aurora, historic day here in Aurora, as the city launched the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act, the CEJA Workforce Development Hub. A round of applause for everybody putting that together. Very exciting event. And our mayor, John Lash, joined Fox 32 today to give some more details behind the hub and what it's going to do here for Aurora moving forward.
Welcome back, everyone. 3:30 right now, and from our conversation about what's happening in Naperville and the discussions that they're having moving forward as a community, trying to see what's coming and going, we move on to Aurora now, where as a part of the Clean and Equitable Jobs Act that passed here in our state in 2021, they're now opening up a workforce development hub. It's one of 13 that will be throughout the state as a result of that legislation that was passed. I want to bring in Aurora Mayor John Lash to talk a little bit more about it.
We're partnering with the College of DuPage, which is also working with Waubonsie Community College here at the local level. The 548 Foundation has been in this space, training workers as well as being a development group, so creating the jobs and training the workforce. So they're partnering with us. What we did was we took our old water and sewer building, so it's like a big warehouse in there. So this is an excellent shop space where people are going to be able to get hands-on experience in construction trades. We can bring solar panels in there in the wintertime and show, do trainings where you can't normally do that unless you have a larger space. So some of the classroom work that's been being done in the state of Illinois is now going to have a more robust training center to work with. And there's one other thing I want to mention. Because we're on the heels of MLK Day here, and I didn't mention this in my speech last night at our city event, but the siege bill passed in 2021 in the wake of the murder of George Floyd, and the Illinois General Assembly did a really good job making sure that equity was a key component of this bill that passed through. So they're making sure that people that throughout their lives have had barriers to a good education, that we strip those barriers down. So there's funding for people who need a ride to the job training program, if they need childcare, if there's any other barriers, they're getting paid, I think, $13 an hour to attend a training. So it makes it more equitable that the people that have slipped through the cracks or returning citizens have an opportunity to get a good paying job and be part of our local economy and really are training for the future.
And that there are 13 areas within Illinois where these hubs are. Why is Aurora one?
We're a hub outside of the city of Chicago, a growing city that has a really strong, robust workforce. We have several junior colleges. It's an ideal place to partnership. And we've got a lot of businesses that are interested in partnering. So if a business has a new product, for example, a battery storage business that might be coming into the place because of the recent surge bill that passed down in Springfield, they can use our training center as a place to educate local contractors. And someone else had another business as they were leaving the event space today that they wanted to explore having to do with heat pumps. So we're open, and Aurora is going to be open for business, and we want to provide the workforce for businesses that want to come here. We have access to the I-88 interstate on 4 exchanges, and this mayor's, I'm going to be very focused on building a green collar economy, affordable, energy efficient housing, and making sure that we have living wage jobs in our community to help lift our whole community up.
Round of applause again for the Seizure Workforce Development Hub here in the city of Aurora. Really a historic day. I know will be discussed a little bit more here tonight, but looking forward to seeing that project continue to move forward and working with College of DuPage, the 548 Foundation, and any other partner who'd like to be a part of it. You could contact our Director of Sustainability, Allison Lindberg, to be a part of the conversation moving forward. So a little bit of a recap on what's going on here in Aurora. There's so much happening. Support Restaurant Week. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. And I'll just add that it was really a team effort to get the old 649 building back in shape and ready for this. There's a phase 2 construction project that'll cost a little bit more. Eventually, we'll see that come through the city council. There's a few agenda items tonight, but I did talk also about sort of what the future looks like and other initiatives that it'll take to create the jobs moving forward, and we're in negotiating with a number of companies to try and make sure that the people that are getting trained here are also getting jobs in our community and in the surrounding neighborhoods. So with that, I'll ask the clerk to please see if we have any members of the public wishing to offer a public comment.
We do. Shall I go ahead and read?
Would you like to read the rules for public comment?
Yes. Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, all persons shall be permitted an opportunity to address public officials under the rules established and recorded by the council. Under our rules, any person may address the committee of the whole for up to 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes allotted for all public comment. No person other than the timekeeper or the chair for the purpose of maintaining order may interrupt a person recognized for public comment during his or her comments. Members of the committee of the whole shall not engage with nor respond to a speaker during the time set aside for public comment. Staff is directed to follow up with members of the public with respect to any concerns raised during public comment within the scope of the city's authority following the adjournment of this meeting.
Thank you. And I'll ask you to please read the name of the first person who wished to offer public comment.
Manuel Fernando Cardoza.
Welcome, Mr. Cardoza. You have 3 minutes beginning now. Feel free to adjust the microphone if you need to.
City and honorable members, I come to address my comment to all of you. I would like to say the way how the city can unify the city more, considering only 6.22% of the population of Aurora voted last year. Going door to door is one way, or it could be seen as one of the only ways considering the current state of things. Telling the people how certain subject or a certain achievement could be acquired if they got more involved, could be a start. Or maybe start meetings outside City Hall to allow more flexibility. Of course, this would be more voluntary work and be more independent, which can be a good thing to avoid any problems. As in beginning stage for unifying the people, starting on the east side of Fox River would be a more desirable place to start, specifically Ward 1, 2, 3, and 7. Here is more easier to walk and remember the area. Going door to door would require a lot of walking. I once walked from Union Station to O Block, so I know it's possible. If successful, the ward could be divided into 12 sections, not broken up, but have an unofficial imaginary lines that each ward has. A bunch of little unified communities numbering 12, as is sort of a rough estimate. Each of these sections can have a section leader or speaker. A unofficial position, these leaders would be a rotational position within the section. They would attend city council meetings and committee of the whole or any other meeting on behalf of their section, depending who has the time or willing to attend, hence it being rotational. After the meeting, they can inform the section of their community or have a rundown on what meeting they attended, what have. If the wards have 12 sections with 12 section speakers or leaders, it would mean a possible 120 individuals can attend these meetings, fill the vacancy of this room. I would also like to mention sort of a triangle situation this city has, starting from budget cut, high tax, and shrinking population, which has happened before in numbering cities such as Harvey, Gary, and Rockford. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cordoza. I'll ask clerk, please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment.
Beverly. Beverly Padilla. Padilla.
I'm not very good at talking in front of people, but I had to come down here. I was going down Broadway, and I called 311 about this, and there's a big sign in the window that says F ICE, and I think it's disgraceful to our city and disgraceful to our officers and the mayor, everybody. We don't need that in the city for people to read that, unless, you know, people are trying to start some kind of trouble and war in Aurora. I mean, you can go down Broadway and see it, and it's shameful. It's shameful to look up. My grandson asked me, "What does FK mean? What does that mean?" What do you think I should tell him? He's 8. Should I tell him? No. He shouldn't have to read that. I was born and raised here within probably a 10-block radius, and I have the utmost respect for the officers, the aldermen, the mayor, and I think that is disgraceful to our city. No matter what you believe, that's disgraceful to our city. And when I called and complained about it, I called the police department, and they said it was a matter of free speech. Okay. Then I called 311 twice, and they said they were putting it into a meeting, that they were going to discuss it. So I think freedom of speech is one thing. That's not freedom of speech to put a big "fuck you" sign in your window. You know, who wants to hear that? And back in my day, if a woman said that word, she was shamed automatically. You just did not talk like that. And now you go down the city streets and see it in big red letters. So I hope that the city council, all of you, can decide to change whatever rule there is and get that off the main street of Aurora. And it should be an ordinance where people can't put it in their windows, not something like that. You know, for a while people wouldn't even say Merry Christmas. You know, things changing now where we've come to, we can go ahead and put that up there. That's all I just want to say that. And again, I have the utmost respect for police officers, the utmost, and aldermen and mayor, people with that have positions. So I think it's a bad sign. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Padilla. Alas, clerk, please read the next name of the person wishing to offer public comment.
Pat Carlos?
Yeah, I guess I want to make a comment that kind of goes right along with hers. Watching this film right here about how Aurora's trying to do these nice things with the food restaurant week, the job thing you're doing, and some of the other things that were mentioned on there, bringing attention to Aurora is all a good thing, and revitalization of the downtown area. And you know what? Same thing. My comments are the same thing. It's obscene, it's disrespectful, and it's a shame that our city has to allow this. We already have a bad enough reputation, in case you don't know this. We're not Naperville, we're not St. Charles, we're not Geneva, we're not anything that you guys are trying to be. And you go into any other town, and I know you all know it. You all know it. You go to any other town, they don't want to come to Aurora. It's dirty. It's dumpy. Look at the downtown. You got to go down through downtown, and you're going to see that sign. I, too, called 311 and talked to the gentleman twice. Called the police department, too. Got the same answers. Oh, they're going to have a board meeting about it to figure out what to do. Board meeting to figure out what to do. I'll tell you what the board meeting is. I used to have a business in Aurora, and I had a couple other businesses in other towns. I can't just go out there and put a sign up there, I'm open, flags. I'll get fined. Take it down. You're going to get a fine. Okay? Here's the answer. Find out who owns the building. Call them up and say, listen, you got 1 day to get that sign down. It's $500 a day. We want it down. This does not represent our town. And I'm like this. When I hear that free speech stuff, I ain't going to say this. I don't care what you believe about the ICE or anything like that. You know, that's besides the point. What if that sign said, F-bomb the gays? How about this one? F-bomb all the homosexuals. How about this one? Put your name on there. F-bomb the mayor and his kids. How long is it? Same thing, your name. F-bomb your wife, your kids. How long would that sign be up there? I'm offended by this sign. And we should all be offended. All you should be offended that you can just go around there and write, excuse my language, fuck ICE. I'd like to know what you guys are going to do about it. This is not something that represents, you want to bring in new people to this town, new businesses. If I'm a business person, I'm looking to open a business on downtown Aurora, sure in the heck not, I'm going to drive by that and see that dump and all the other dumps. Doesn't make me want to, gives me any incentive to move into town unless you give me a bunch of money like you gave everybody else, all the other restaurants and everything to move in. Well, yeah, maybe I'd consider it until I go out.
Thank you, Mr. Callis.
Two.
Your 3 minutes is up.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments tonight. Do we have any other members of the public wishing to offer public comment?
We do not.
Okay. Next, we'll move to committee reports, and we'll start with the BZ&E committee. I'll ask Chairman Mike Seville to give the report from BZ&E.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. The BZ&E committee met Tuesday, January 6, 2026. January 14th, 2026, and reviewed the following items. The first one is 25-0984, and this was an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for a social service agencies, charitable organizations, health-related facilities, and similar uses when not operated for pecuniary profit, used to allow an emergency warming shelter on the property located at 712 South River Street. The council may remember that we approved this warming shelter, and this is the conditional use that we need for backup and following up with that decision that the council already made.
There's no questions or comments on this item. Agenda item 250984 will go on the consent agenda.
Okay, the next item is 25-1045. This is an ordinance amending Chapter 49 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Aurora, by modifying the zoning map attached thereto to rezone property located at 462 Jackson Street from R4 to two-family dwelling to R3, one-family dwelling. This is an existing single-family home that was downzoned physically from 2 units to 1, and this is catching up. And now that the owner wants the second water meter reduced and eliminated, so.
Consent.
Consent?
If there's no questions or discussion on this agenda item, 251045 will be added to the consent agenda.
And the last one, Mayor, is the resolution is 25-0919, and this is a resolution approving a final plan on Line 3 of Mitchell Road Industrial Park subdivision located at 2355 Mitchell Road for warehouse distribution and storage services use and business and professional office use. This is actually the last lot out there in this business park, and they're building a spec building. Consent. But this is actually.
Yeah, there's no action item on this
unless
one?
it's appealed, this will not go to the city council.
Mayor Lash? Can I-
Alderman Barrero.
I had a question on this. One is, I thought we had a moratorium. Is this not?
They apply before.
It does not fall within the moratorium guidelines.
This came in before the moratorium took
Can you
place.
state your name, sorry?
Oh, I'm sorry, Tracy Basic, Director of Zoning and Planning. This came in before the moratorium took place, so we were able to process this one.
Okay, my question is regarding the egress. There's a lot of traffic there, and if you're trying to come out of Belter and trying to make a left turn, it's depending on the time of day, it's very dangerous, and now we're adding another exit onto that road, and I saw that there was a left turn permitted, so
Yeah.
I was just wondering if that came up as a concern.
So engineering did take a look at this. We've had a IGA in place with North Aurora. North Aurora is the road is North Aurora's road. So we did take a look at this, and this was an area that we did expect a second or a full access.
Okay, well, I'm just stating a concern, because I travel that area, and I use that Milter Road to try to make
Yeah.
that turn. And a lot of cars are stacking up over there and darting between cars going in both directions, and this is just gonna add to that.
Yeah, so they both took a look at it, North Aurora as well as our engineering department, and felt comfortable with it.
And also, where are the trucks gonna be headed to, coming out of there?
I would assume that they would either be going up to Bilter to get over to Farnsworth to go onto the interstate, if that would be the case. So-
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion on this agenda item? Okay, no further action needed. Thank you, Tracy.
And that is a report from the BZ&E Committee, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Chairman Seville. Next, I'll ask Chairman Masiacos to give the Finance Committee report.
Thank you, Mayor. The Finance Committee met on January 15th, 2026, and reviewed the following items. Item 25-0959, a resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant award of $24,000 from the Illinois Attorney General's Office as part of the 2026 Attorney General's Organized Retail Crime Grant Program.
Consent.
Okay. Are there any questions or discussion? If there are none, 250959 will be added to the consent agenda.
Next item, Mayor, 25-0960, a resolution authorizing city to accept a grant award of $17,736 from the FY26 Illinois Department of Transportation State and Community Highway Safety National Priority Safety Programs Grant.
Consent.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, 250960 will also be added to the consent agenda.
Next item, 25-0988, a resolution authorizing the execution of a Phase 2 design engineering supplement with Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. in the not to exceed amount of $42,829 and the appropriation of $42,829 of MFT funds for the Indian Trail, Ohio to Pennsbury Signal Modernization Project.
Consent.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, 250988 will be added to the consent agenda.
Next item, 25-1014, a a resolution authorizing the execution of a license agreement with the College of DuPage and 548 Foundation for space at 649 South River Street, Aurora, Illinois, 60506. And we have staff here too, they want to share with us a little bit more information.
Yes, thank you. Allison Lindberg, Director of Sustainability. We thought that you might like a presentation, but if you don't want one, we don't have to give one. So it's really up to, I think, the council.
Does any member of the council wish to get a short update?
I would appreciate a short update as well.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. So again, I'm Allison Lindberg, Director of Sustainability, and with me I have Callie Matheny with the College of DuPage. And so the resolution that you have before you is for a license agreement to reuse the former Public Works building that was for the Water and Sewer Department at 649 South River Street for a CJA Workforce Development Hub. You probably saw something mentioned during the mayor's update about that today. I'd like to thank Alderman Barrero and Alderman White for attending today when we had our launch event. And so I'm just going to go into really quickly a brief overview of what the ordinance actually does, and then I'm going to let Callie here explain a little bit more about the CJA Workforce Development Program. She'll be able to cover it much better than I did at the Finance Committee. So essentially, this is just a license agreement that allows the College of DuPage and the 548 Foundation to use this space for training and education. Some of the things we've been doing was we have been working to upgrade the bathroom to make it ADA accessible. The College of DuPage does have one student that is in a wheelchair, so this was extremely important to us. The ordinance itself has monthly charges to cover rent and utilities and runs from February 1st through June 30th of this year. The reason for that is we couldn't get them in until February, and College of DuPage's financial cycle ends on June 30th, so they needed the lease to end at that time, and then they will be renewing it annually. Just so everyone is aware, the city is not obligated to provide financial assistance to the programming that is happening at this location. However, we will be promoting it. We will be trying to assist with partnerships with businesses so that we can actually take that extra step for the workforce development after the training and education has happened, which meets both sustainability and economic development goals. So that being said, do you want to go? Sure. Okay.
Great. Thank you. Thank you all for giving me some time today, and I don't want to go into too much detail. Sometimes I have the tendency to do that, so feel free to just pause me if you feel like it's going a little too long format. But for those of you who don't know what CJA is, it is the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act. It was signed into law in 2021 by Governor Pritzker to basically say that Illinois is transitioning to 100% clean energy by 2050. And how will we get there if that's what we're doing? We do actually need to create an entire workforce that is dedicated to clean energy jobs. And so we are a piece of that. We are one of currently 13 workforce hubs throughout the state of Illinois. A 14th is actually coming online at Kankakee Community College. That will be coming here soon. So again, this is happening throughout the state of Illinois. The idea behind it is that each individual workforce hub is working with local community to figure out, okay, what are the types of clean energy roles or jobs that are consistent with what employers are looking for in the area. The whole idea is that it is to be hyper-local and focused to the regional and local needs of the economy. So that is a little bit about CJA. Our training program started back in March of 2025. That was when we got the official go-ahead from DCEO, who is the funder of this program. We are part of a community college collaborative, so it's all the community colleges, not just us. It started with Waubonsie Community College. They were actually the initiator of this particular grant. We are also working with Harper, Triton, Elgin, and Kishwaukee colleges. They are a part of our workforce hub. You'll see on the screen that we do have 3 more training scheduled for the remainder of 2026. And again, kind of going back to what Allison shared with you, our program years do run on our fiscal cycle. So our fiscal year starts July 1. So we are running programming through the end of June of this year, and then we'll obviously start up programming again in July. We do have the capacity currently to run about 6 programs a year. We are currently operating on a 7-week cycle. We are in the classroom 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. So by the time all is said and done, the students will have completed about 180 hours worth of training. They do earn 3 different certificates as part of our training. They earn NCCR core construction. I'll go through that in a second because that's a little bit more long format. They do also earn first aid and CPR certification, as well as OSHA 10 certification. NCCR core construction actually covers a variety of skills that are obviously specific to construction, thus the name. We do touch on construction math, construction drawings, safe material handling. We also obviously cover essential life skills. So there's about a 40-hour total content of good communication skills, good digital communication skills, resume basics, resume writing, those types of things. We also have a partnership currently with the Aurora Financial Empowerment Center, and they do come in and actually do instruction on financial management and financial literacy as well. It also gives them an opportunity to connect with someone locally if they do have a need and they are interested in additional financial coaching. It's been a nice partnership for us. And then obviously we also touch on electrical basics. We do about 30 hours of basic safety for electricians, electrical circuitry, electrical theory. By no means does that make them a licensed electrician by the time all is said and done. It is just basic awareness of electrical safety and some concepts. They are, however, able to wire an electrical circuit by the time they are done with our program. So they do have to actually complete all 180 hours of our programming in order to successfully complete the training. They do have to test at 70% or higher for each module before they can move on into something we call job-specific training. And I think I have a slide on that as well. So this is just a quick picture of this was our 3rd graduation cohort, which we did out of Aurora University. What you may have realized at this point is that since last March, we have done programming from Quad County Urban League. We've done 2 different cohorts at Aurora University, and we have since been, since September, at Fox Valley Park District. We are obviously College of DuPage, which means we do not have brick and mortar in the city of Aurora. We have worked closely with Waubonsie Community College, and they have been most gracious to allow us use of their classrooms. But imagine, if you will, if you're training on power tools and hand tools, which is a core piece of our construction instruction, that you're in the downtown Aurora Waubonsie campus and you're sitting in a classroom and all of a sudden you hear some kind of chop saw firing up or some kind of power tool going off. That is not the location to do it. If you've been in that building, you know that that is strictly classroom space. In fact, they have a CNA lab in there, which is lovely. We've done our first aid and CPR in there, but that building is not designed to do what we need it to do, which is create space so that we can actually do the kinds of hands-on work that our program requires us to do. So obviously since early summer, we've been talking to the city of Aurora about this particular problem because it has been a problem for us. My office currently is a music room at the Fox Valley Park District. It is about 10 by 10. And I think Will has actually seen it. We've had, I don't know, roughly 5 or 6 staff members in there at any one given time. Our program is, it's fairly large. We do a lot of things for our students. So in order for us to do them and do them well, we do need kind of an all-hands-on-deck approach. And to do that in the space that we're currently in is just not really meeting the needs of staff, nor is it meeting the needs of our students. So as you can see here, I've already mentioned we are working in collaboration with a lot of our college partners, wanted to highlight them here. And obviously a good component to this program is to highlight kind of who we're also working with locally to source students. So it is not necessarily our job as a program to go out and also find the students. We already have kind of enough on our plates. We work with Goodwill here locally in Aurora. I'm sure all of you have seen their office. It's right on Route 25. kind of near the corner of Benton and 25 there. So Goodwill is tasked with going out into the community and talking about our program. That's what they do best. They're already doing that. They are very familiar with those who are job seeking. They already have kind of a system in place. So that is the grant holder for the navigation piece of this. As you probably saw earlier in the deck, and I'll let Allison speak to that a little bit, we are also collaborating with 548 Foundation. 548 Foundation is also a CEJA-funded program. They are on the climate work side. What we do on workforce side is more specific to local employers, where on the climate work side, they are more in tune to what the unions would like to see and offering pre-apprenticeships. So both of our programs rely on Goodwill to go out into the community and talk about this particular opportunity as a training opportunity for people who are looking. And then obviously, as I spoke to earlier, you know, again, the bridge piece, the 180 hours, is really kind of the entry level piece, if you will. Once they've completed that 180-hour training component and they've done it successfully and they've tested at the level that we need them to test at, they have the opportunity to select a more advanced job-specific training. We are currently offering solar installation. That comes with another certificate, which is NABCEP PV Associate. We also are offering energy auditor. That is specific to commercial buildings. They are learning thermal camera training, and there is a certificate involved in that as well. We are working specifically with NICOR on weatherization. That is the more residential-focused energy auditing program. And then, of course, we have HVAC. Anyone who is interested in the HVAC program, this is our only credit pathway, where if the students are interested in doing that, they then transition over to College of DuPage. We do provide for support for them to get to campus, and then they enroll in our HVAC program there. We cover a certificate program, which is the entry-level HVAC technician certificate. That is 13 credit hours in total. It can be done in one semester. We've had 2 students who did it successfully over the fall, but most are choosing to split it between a fall and a spring, or, you know, obviously a spring and perhaps a summer. We currently have 10 students who are enrolled in that particular program. And obviously, this is workforce development. This is exactly what you may already know about workforce development, but it's like next level workforce development. The idea behind this is that not only are we providing them the training and the skilling to go out into the working world and hopefully perhaps get a clean energy job, but we also provide for the support that most other workforce development programs do not currently provide. We have the funding to provide them $13 an hour for every hour they are in the classroom. That's whether they're doing the 180-hour bridge training or whether they're transitioning over to College of DuPage for their HVAC training. Every hour they are in a classroom, they are earning $13 an hour. So that hopefully also becomes an opportunity. Rather than it becoming kind of a burden for someone to be in the classroom, they're being paid to be in the classroom, and hopefully that takes a little bit off of their plates. We do have funding to help provide for child care, transportation assistance. We do have a lot of students who don't have their own means of transportation. We provide for bus cards. Again, we do provide for students who are Aurora-based to go to COD if they choose to go into the HVAC program. We do have a really nice partnership with the Aurora Interfaith Food Pantry, where we go once a week, we pick up some boxes and we bring them back to our classroom. So thereby hopefully reducing one more trip on a bus for someone who may need food assistance. We give them a box to take home. There's all kinds of other partnerships that we have, and I won't go into too much detail unless someone has some really specific questions, but every day we find a new connection and new ways to connect to the community and new ways to provide for our students. And then obviously, you know, the key component in this and why I am here today, number one, obviously, is to say thank you for even considering allowing us to use this building. This has been a long time coming. I have only been in my role since October of 2024. And since that time, I legitimately have been searching high and low. I have spoken with commercial real estate agents. I've spoken with every community partner I could think of. I have met and seen with all kinds of other community-based organizations who do have space, but it's probably not the right kind of space. This 100% is the right kind of space. If you can kind of go back in time in your little time machine to high school, if you remember what a shop class looked like, That's exactly what we need. We need a place that can serve as a classroom and as a workshop. We have never had that in the nearly 12 months we've been programming. It has been a challenge for students and for staff. And to have a space like this, it really is meeting the needs of the community, of our program, and really, honestly, the state of Illinois, and hopefully the city of Aurora as well. And then, just one more really quick little quip here. Obviously, again, we talked a little bit about the NCCR core construction. Our partner, 548, does the exact same kind of training. We both offer the NCCR core construction. We have been lucky to have had a partnership with Power Construction, who is actually working with Habitat for Humanity of Fox Valley. We have been engaged with them since kind of the beginning, and many of our CEJA graduates have actually worked on that particular subdivision. So it's been really fun and really interesting for me to see kind of things go from a complete, mound of dirt to actual building. And it's been very gratifying, and I know our students have appreciated that opportunity as well. It's been I believe a 12-week internship with Power Construction, who's kind of leading the charge there at the Habitat site. So we've had several students go through that as well. And I think more or less I am at the end of my slides here. Does anyone have any questions? I'm sure you have plenty.
Alderman Nunez.
First off, appreciate everything you and CEJA do for the community. Since you mentioned being hyper-focused and there was a little touch on the unions, has there been conversations with our local trade unions here already? And what do those conversations look like, whether
Sure.
it involves apprenticeship programs and things of that nature?
Absolutely. Very early on, I did approach our local IBEW hall on Sullivan Road. Initially, conversations were very welcoming. I, in fact, presented to their board, I want to say last January. And it was the apprenticeship side specifically, because we were hoping that we could basically, as part of our grant metrics, we do want to be able to transition people into union work if there is an interest. And so having that kind of warm lead and warm contact is super helpful. To date, that really hasn't gotten us anywhere. I've also approached them to basically rent classroom space, and that additionally didn't really go anywhere. And that's fine. Everyone has their own kind of programs, and I think to a degree, again, IBEW has their own kind of proprietary mix, and they're comfortable with that, and I understand it. We've also spoken with the Sheet Metal Workers Union, or SMACNA, if you're familiar with that. And SMART is kind of their affiliate, because again, we have a lot of students that are pursuing HVAC, and they are very interested in that. And so where we don't necessarily have those relationships, because we do have a very baseline, like we know who you are because I continually ping them with email. And basically kind of the line is always, well, we have a process and here's what the process is. And if someone is interested in joining our union, they do have to go through the same channels everyone else does, which is applying to be an apprentice, testing, and those types of things. So to date, we have had several people test. I want to say we've had 4 students who have completed, and I know 2 of our students are actually on a list for IBEW. One may be local, I know the other one is not for sure. But both are scheduled possibly in 2028. That's how long the waiting list is. So in the meantime, we're still obviously trying to find other ways of, again, creating maybe an easier pathway forward. And I'm not necessarily asking for like a free pass to the front of the line, but maybe there's a better way we can connect in the future. So we're continually working on that, but there doesn't seem to be an easy path forward on that.
I'll answer that question too. Just sometime in beginning of February, we'll be sitting down with the unions to talk about this. It seems like the real opportunities are those jobs where they're not currently union, and that there might be an opportunity for a hybrid using some of the CEJA workers as well as some union workers. So one specifically that we're talking to is Progressive Energy started a conversation about the solar panels that are going out at the airfield, because it's our airfield and our project. And there seems to be an open door. It was not currently a union slated job. So I think there might be an opportunity, and it's going to take some time. This was a contentious part as the bill moved through in Springfield, and it's going to have some bumps in the road. It won't be smooth, but the goal is to make sure that there's percentages and hybrid models to work with, depending on the project. Any other questions for Callie? Alderwoman Bade.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for an excellent presentation. On the first or second page, so for monthly charges, College of DuPage and 548 Foundation, both will be responsible?
Yes.
And how much is it? How much do they have to pay monthly?
That should be in that.
Currently, it's yeah. I believe it's 2,500 currently.
And it will start from February to June, but for next year, it will be January to December or summer?
July. It'll start July 1.
July 1, okay.
Yeah. To June 30th.
To December, and then January to December next year.
No. Sorry.
Oh, 6 months?
Yes.
Sorry, Allison Lindberg, Director of Sustainability. The license agreement will probably always be on a July to June 1 year cycle going forward. It will not be a January 1st to December 31st. It will instead follow their fiscal year, which will be July through June. It's the only way that we could get it through their board.
Okay. And that will cover all the rent and utilities? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Alderwoman Bade.
Yeah, can they mention the number officially or no? Here.
I'm sorry, back up, what's the question?
So what monthly charges will be?
What the rent charges will be?
Yeah.
It's in the contract.
It's in the contract in the agenda.
It's 2,500 apiece, so 5,000 a month.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. It's in there.
Any other questions? Thank you both.
Thank you.
With no further discussion, this item will be added to the consent agenda. 251014.
Okay, and last but not least, Mayor, item 26-0015, a resolution authorizing the 2026 Ward Neighborhood Cleanup and Shred events in all wards in the city of Aurora.
Consent.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, 260015 will be added to the consent agenda.
And that concludes the report for the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Chairman Masiacos. Next, I'll ask Chairman Franco to give the PHST committee report.
Thank you. The Public Health, Safety, and Transportation Committee met on January 13th, 2026, and reviewed the following items. 25-0890, a resolution establishing the maximum number of Class B on-site consumption liquor licenses unofficially related to the application from Amias Corporation located at 749 North Lake Street. This is a new ownership license. A liquor license was previously approved with the prior owners.
Consent.
Any questions or discussions? Hearing none.
This is the former Pepe's restaurant on Lake Street.
Yep. Okay. 250890 will be added to the consent agenda.
Next one is 25-1051, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Aurora and the Kendall County Cooperative Police Assistance Team. This resolution allows APD to continue working with Kendall County Police Assistance Team. One modification is an opt-out agreement after 30 days' notice as opposed to the previous 90 days.
Consent.
Questions or discussion? Hearing none, 251051 will be added to the consent agenda.
Next one is 25-1003, a discussion pertaining to traffic parking studies and street signage. At our last meeting, we were waiting for staff who will be doing some research on this to present some of their ideas, thoughts going forward, whether it be signage, whether it be how to park, different things like that. So we really haven't gotten to the meat of the discussion yet, but they're going to present to us, and then we'll give feedback based on what they see. So this is an ongoing thing, so we'll give periodic reports as it comes along. And that would conclude the PHST report.
Any discussions on 251003 or questions? Can we add this to the consent agenda?
It's
Information only? Okay. Thank you, Chairman Franco. Next, I'll ask Chairwoman Juana Garza to give the IT committee report.
Thank you, Mayor. We met on January 12th. The first item in the agenda is 25-1037, a resolution authorizing approval of 1-year renewal of software licenses for computer aid, dispatch, and records management system for Intergraph Corporation, Madison, Alabama, at a total cost of $437,612.40.
Questions or discussion?
Consent.
Hearing none, 251037 will be added to the consent agenda.
Next one is 25-1040, a resolution authorizing the execution of Phase 1 preliminary engineering agreement with Stanley Consultants, Inc. to the not-to-exceed amount of $376,398.00 and the appropriation of $380,000 for the Commons Drive resurfacing and Fox Valley Mall signal modernization project.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, 251040 will be added to the consent agenda.
Next item is 26-0005, a resolution approving intergovernmental agreement between the City of Aurora and Illinois Department of Transportation for partial reimbursement of the South Broadway Avenue Sur separation, Hazel Avenue to North Avenue project.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, 26005 will be added to the consent agenda.
Okay, and we conclude the meeting, Mayor.
Thank you, Chairwoman Garza. Next, I'll ask Chairman Ed Bug to give the RAP Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Rules Administration Procedure Committee met on January 6, 2026, reviewed the following items for your consideration. 25-0947, ordinance creating a PACE area and establishing the Illinois Finance Authority Property Assessed Clean Energy PACE program for certain properties in Aurora city limits. I believe we're going to have a brief presentation on this matter.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Council. I appreciate you listening to me again. Again, I'm Allison Lindberg, Director of Sustainability. And with me, I have Brad Fletcher from the Illinois Finance Authority. I'm going to just move through this pretty quickly and then allow Brad here to answer all of your burning questions because he really understands this program inside and out. Would you like to just introduce yourself?
Thank you for having me. I was here at the Rules Committee not too long ago, answered several questions. Be happy to do so again. Again, Brad Fletcher. I work with the Illinois Finance Authority. We are a state agency. We are not a department of the state. So we are self-funded. Another way of saying that is we are very motivated to close economic development transactions. So thank you.
Great, thank you. So the ordinance that you have before you today is just to enable participation into the Illinois Finance Authority C-PACE program. PACE stands for Property Assessed Clean Energy. I know it's confusing because it's also our bus system, but PACE as defined has been PACE for over 20 years. There are numerous PACE programs across the country. So C stands for Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy. This ordinance will essentially allow people that are eligible property owners to access this financing to improve their buildings if they so choose. And this particular financing mechanism is just going to be one tool in our tool belt that we hope that our property owners in Aurora will take advantage of. Essentially, this will enable this access to long-term fixed-rate financing for building upgrades. It will help us meet our sustainability plan goals and help boost economic development. It supports energy efficiency, renewable energy, water conservation, and building resiliency. And there's no obligation to the city, no cost, no debt, no financial liability with this ordinance. Again, Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy. This program has been run by the Illinois Finance Authority. It's a statewide program. Municipalities do have to enact enabling legislation, which is the reason why we have to do this today. The financing is repaid through a special assessment on the property. So it's a little bit different from a traditional loan, and it is paid alongside property taxes. Oops. So the way that it works, property owner applies for the financing, and then the Illinois Finance Authority will issue the bonds or notes through private capital providers that they currently work with. Then the funds, the capital will fund the project up front, do the construction, and then the property owner will repay via an assessment lien over time on the property. The city does not issue the bonds or provide the funding. So what's what's I think really important to understand about this is this can actually in some cases mean no additional cost to the property owner. So for example, if they do an energy efficiency improvement, they will try to make the payment that gets paid on the property bill, they will try to make that payment match the energy savings that they will be getting from the improvements. So essentially, it can be considered a no-cost improvement to the building. So the eligible properties are commercial properties, industrial, non-residential ag, multifamily, and nonprofit. So single-family residential properties are not eligible for this program. And these are some of the eligible improvements. So you can do lighting, HVAC, insulation, renewable energy, including geothermal and solar, water use, resiliency measures, so including flood mitigation and infrastructure upgrades, and electric vehicle charging stations. So there's a lot of things that this financing can be used for. The terms can be up to 100% of the project and closing costs. It can be building rehab or new construction. And the maximum value is, or the maximum amount of the financing can be up to 25% of the total property value. So if the property is worth $1 million, you can get up to $250,000 in those specific improvements. Sometimes this is used as gap financing. Sometimes it could potentially be used as the total amount of the financing if the project is just for the qualified improvements like energy efficiency, et cetera. The typical term is 10 to 30 years, up to 40 years. Brad tells me nobody really goes to 40 years. And the idea behind this is that you get, because it's competitive, you get these low interest rates that are fixed. It's non-recourse, meaning that it's secured by the property, not a personal person, and then the assessment can transfer to a new owner upon sale. And I say can because obviously it's contingent on whether that buyer wants to allow that or not. So again, impact to the city, no debt, financial or financial liability. We do not issue the bonds. We don't administer this program. IFA does it. They're the one that handles the program administration, the providers, and the compliance with the program. The only thing the city has to do is we get the final say on whether we want this project to go forward or not. And we should promote the program because it's a good tool. And then we have the option of tracking and providing feedback. So some of the benefits, this is a state agency-run program. They have multiple administrators. It's a competitive open market, which allows for low interest rates. It also creates a uniform municipal CPACE program. So currently, municipalities like Aurora as a city can have a PACE program, but so can counties. So as you know, Aurora has 4 counties. We have 2 counties that currently have PACE programs, but this will allow us to have one municipal PACE program that everyone in the city of Aurora can access. CPACE is already established by 6 other counties and 16 municipalities in Illinois. So there's a lot of benefits to this. This really does help to lower the barrier to building improvements. I think I mentioned this at WRAP, but I was talking with a building owner that really said, wow, we really need some new windows. And it was going to cost them something like $500,000, $600,000. CPACE could actually fund that entire thing because because windows could be considered an energy efficiency improvement. So this could really help some of our buildings downtown. It can help other buildings all across Aurora. The other thing I just want to point out is the reduced operating costs for buildings. Once the project is actually paid for, then they will start to see those reduced operating costs, which actually puts more money back into the local economy. So the ordinance, again, creates a citywide PACE area within the Aurora boundaries. It designates IFA as a sole bond issuer. It authorizes Illinois CPACE Open Market Initiative as the administrator, allows for multiple program administrators. So if we wanted to have our own CPACE program at some time, we can. Again, this is all voluntary. It does establish a $150 city fee for a project. That's waivable if we want to. That's just to potentially basically cover anything that administratively when we're doing the review. Again, Brad tells me this isn't really that necessary, but it's in there if we want it. No city debt, no city financial obligation. The property owner is the one that is responsible for doing the repayment. The city can receive this administrative fee if we choose, and this will have no impact on the general fund. I also just wanted to provide a couple of quick examples of some of the projects that have used CPACE financing. So Village of Northbrook here, they, Skokie Boulevard, they have a retrofit that was a hotel. They replaced the roof and the insulation, new doors and windows, upgraded HVAC and plumbing, LED lighting, and they upgraded their elevator system, and they were all able to do this with the CPACE financing. The first year energy savings there, which is the $508,000, that is basically the price of the repayment. So it basically pays for itself. And then I'll just show this one as well. I don't want to go through all of this, but I just want to demonstrate that we have new construction here, that it can also be used for, including upgrading insulation on the roof. So for new construction, basically you have to go above the current state energy code in order for it to be eligible for the CPACE financing. But Energy Star windows, upgraded HVAC, plumbing, and LED lighting and controls. And I'm not going to go through all of these because I don't want to keep you too long, but I will let Brad wrap it up with this final slide, and then you all can ask questions. Thank you.
And thank you. That was an excellent presentation. In fact, thank you for preparing those 2 slideshows on the projects. I hope I can steal that from you and share them as my own. Just to kind of take a bit of a step back, a bit of a high level, this is all voluntary all around the table. As a state agency, our participation will be voluntary on a case-by-case basis. Capital providers out in the market, just like mortgage providers, will underwrite each project on a case-by-case basis. Market appetite will be determined on a case-by-case basis. So this is not a state funding program. This is attracting private capital with the best mousetrap that we can design for the property owners in our communities. That's what this program is set up for, and that's how this program is designed. This program is a mirror image, of state law, because it has the same author, the Illinois Finance Authority, and our attorneys. We were thinking of the likes of the city of Aurora while we were drafting this rewrite of the comprehensive technical rewrite, in 2019, so that the city of Aurora could have a uniform PACE program for its entire city, as opposed to 4 different PACE programs depending on where your property owner is located. Again, as Allison mentioned, under our statute, we can go out to 40 years. Most commercial real estate lenders only lend up to 30 years. The reason you sometimes see longer terms is seismic retrofits or flood mitigation along the Mississippi. You potentially could see projects go out to 40 years. I'd like to caveat all this. You see the eligible improvements, and Allison did a good job of explaining some of those. Eligible properties, Allison explained those as well. Try to think of this more of income-producing properties. The lenders that are attracted to these type of projects are more often than not, in my experience, former commercial mortgage bank securities bankers. So they're looking for properties that throw off cash, hospitality, multifamily. Those are the projects that are number 1 and number 2 in the sector across the country, bar none. And then there's 3, 4, 5, and 6, which is industrial, data centers, and your general commercial properties. So to the extent you have a city like Aurora that has some dated commercial properties, Class A or Class B, to the extent you have dated multifamily properties or 5 or more units, that's actually in state law of 5 or more units, this is the best option you can put on the table that attracts private capital, bar none. This is on page 1 of the state's economic development incentive package now. And in order for us to offer this at the statewide level, I say us collectively as the citizens of the state, we need an enabling ordinance to opt into the statewide program. Recall, please, that this is just putting a tool in your toolbox. If you never use it, you're not creating any property owner rights, so that provides you a little bit of comfort. And then in addition, just to kind of run through a quick litany of additional comfort that you may be seeking today as you're hearing these presentations. At any time, you're under no legal obligation to execute and deliver any particular assessment contract for any particular project. You can always suspend or terminate the program at any time, any capital provider at any time, or any program administrator at any time. You do not require to bill and collect, nor does the county require to bill and collect. The lenders will bill and collect, and just like lenders bill and collect mortgage financing. You will obviously benefit by not incurring any related conduit debt or compliance or accounting obligations. The bonds or the notes that finance these projects, albeit private capital, are issued by the Illinois Finance Authority, body politic and corporate of the state, not the city of Aurora. That is a distinguishing factor here between private label PACE programs you may have heard about before and the program that we're presenting today. And then finally, last but not least, under each assessment contract, this is very important from a legal risk mitigation perspective, you are indemnified by the property owner, which protects you against third-party claims. And more importantly, you are an additional insured by each PACE project administrator and each prospective PACE project. That's comfort all around the table. You're not issuing the debt, you're not providing the funding, you're insured, you're indemnified, and at the end of the day, you have the final say for any reason or no reason. And it literally says that in the ordinance word for word. So I hope you consider this favorably and be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments from the council? Alderman Nunez.
Thank you both for the presentation. When it comes to vendors that are going to be used, whether it is a new roof or a window, is it safe to assume it's during the application process that the property owner is going to submit the estimate along with their application?
Yeah, so under the IFA PACE program, which is what we're discussing today, and again, there's a strong reservation of rights in the ordinance. You could have thousands of PACE programs in the future, just to be clear. Under the IFA PACE program, we allow record owners, property owners, to assemble their own teams. They get to pick and choose their own vendors. It's a free and open market. Now, more often than not, which is really the root of your question, the lenders who are lending the money for the projects would like to have the say to make sure that they are true professionals, they're bonded, they're licensed, they're insured. And similarly, the city of Aurora is responsible for permitting and the like. So you can see where we're all building off each other's strengths here.
Great. Second question, Allison, you mentioned that the city will have the final say. What body would have that say? And could you give an example of how a no would be given or when a no would be given?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. I think that Brad and I were talking that it will probably be probably my office that will have the final say. However, that's just kind of a courtesy. I think that it actually has to go through our permitting process, and that will be kind of the final say. So if it doesn't go through the permitting process and it doesn't make it through that, then it can't go forward. However, it does sound like Brad said that he will also send it to me so that I can see it, and if I wanted to, I could say no, like for some reason. At least that's my understanding.
Yeah. So under the ordinance, there is a delegation of authorized officers, of which you can pick who those authorized officers are. In my experience, it's usually the city mayor, village president, city manager, village manager, or director of economic development, or CFO. All we ever ask is that it's more than one title and not a person, because people change over time, and of course, sometimes office holders take vacations. To answer your question, yes, it's delegated on a case-by-case basis. But having said that, you're also a municipality. So the idea that a developer has not only received a construction permit, land use approval, zoning approval, has acquired financing, has built its project, and then needs to get an occupancy certificate from the city of Aurora, I would find it hard to believe that the city of Aurora or its delegates would be opposed to that financing when all those other approvals are necessary to bring that project, that building, if you will, online, right? And again, this is private capital. And under state law, you have a senior lender, your mortgage lender, who has to provide consent. So you're going to get a bond counsel opinion that this transaction is valid and binding. The money at the table will want that, so it's ensured that it's safe. And insured, not insured. We're a state agency. We have reputational risk on the line. It's our bonds, it's our name, and it's our program. This all comes down to trust. If we invalidate our trust with you or your delegated officers, it breaks the trust with every municipality and every county we have. That's why the ordinance is written specifically the way it's written. You will always have the final say. And on a pragmatic basis, I can't just call Allison cold and say, I need the mayor's signature in 24 hours. This will be a collaborative process. The idea is, rather than Allison and her team working on a project for 9 months, it's a state agency and my team that works on it for 9 months. We kind of loop you in and keep you up to speed as things are going along. And if an issue arises that we need to collaborate more so than otherwise, we'd be happy to do so. I hope that helps.
Most likely, Alderman, it'll be coming through in a redevelopment financing stack where there's several pieces to finance a project.
Yeah.
We're looking at one right now with the neighbor project, and they're looking at money from different places. This will just be one menu item, and you would see it coming before the council. That's the most likely scenario. There's consideration for, I think, building, Society 57, if they ever do the upstairs. I think they would be an excellent candidate for this. That would come through the council, and you would get approval and take a look at it.
Appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Thank you both.
Thank you.
So consent on that.
So no other questions, 250947 on consent?
Yep. And our next item, 26-0001, resolution authorizing the reappointment of Ginger Ingram, the appointment of Javier Taraz, Jahari Thompson, Brian Joseph to the Aurora Public Art Commission.
Questions or discussion?
Consent?
Consent?
Hearing none, 260001 will be added to the consent agenda.
And next, I believe we are prepared. Our held item here that came from RAP 25-0779, ordinance amending and adding sections 2-185, 15-130, 15-320, 15-321, 15-322, and 15-354. The Code of Ordinances of the City of Aurora pertaining to the disclosure of economic interest, campaign contributions, lobbying, and the use of city property in the city seal.
I think Alderman Bug, we talked about bringing this on February 3rd to have the discussion on this. No, February 3rd was the ACA. But why don't we hold this till the following COW meeting as well?
May I ask
There's,
a question?
yeah, go ahead.
I'm fine with holding it, so I'm not questioning that, but I am questioning this has been going on for 4 months now. So
It's okay.
we come here prepared each time to discuss it, to talk about it, and it keeps getting pushed off.
Well, it's holding because we also had a bunch of other stuff come up with respect to legal and executive session. So probably going to hold it here at COW for the next 2 cycles.
Yeah, the last time a staff member had an emergency in their family, they were going to be one of the people presenting, so that did not work out. The reason it got held over the holidays or say into December was just because of the
budget.
The vast amount. As I read the number of sections, I don't know, 9 sections we're going to take a look at, and of course we were trying to get through the budget, so that was not going to time-wise. We already went to 10 o'clock at night. We didn't want to be here till midnight. So
The only reason
Why don't we do it on February 17th, and we'll lock that in regardless
the only
of what's
reason why
going
I
on.
asked the question is because, as in every item, we come prepared, and I could have spent less time preparing today if I'd have known that this wasn't going to be discussed and it was going to be put off a month from now. So I'm just voicing my opinion here for what it's worth, but I'm fine with holding it. I just would have been nice to know.
Okay, why don't we hold it until February 17th and plan to move it forward and at that time. Can hold it here.
that concludes the RAP committee report for January 6th. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Bug. Okay, next we will move to new business. Agenda item 251027, a motion authorizing and directing the interim chief human resource officer to execute a settlement agreement on behalf of the city and workers' compensation claim number 23Q0515622322. I think we covered this in executive session.
Consent.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing no further discussion, this item will be added to the consent agenda. Next, we're going to have the Alderman's Corner, and then we will move into closed session. So first, we'll get Alderman Barrero the clicker. Looks like you're all warmed up and ready to go.
Can we either, we're questioning this last item because we're not really sure what it was and there wasn't a lot of info on it. Can we either put it on hold or?
If you'd like, what we could do is put it on unfinished, and it could be addressed in executive session. I think it was covered in the last executive session.
Yes, that would be fine. Thank you, rather than put on consent. Thank you.
So I'll ask clerk to put 251027 on unfinished business for the next city council meeting. We have executive session tonight to discuss pending litigation. I think
we can discuss this as pending litigation as well, so it can go on unfinished, and then we can answer any questions concerning this claim. So if you can stay. I'm sorry, I was telling. I was just. We do have a closed session tonight to discuss several matters of litigation. So we'll add any questions that you have on the workers' compensation claim as well, because that's also pending litigation.
Any other questions on that agenda item? Everybody okay with that? Alderman Barrero, are you ready?
Just setting my timer. I don't want to be here for half an hour. So I can't believe this is my second Alderman's Corner. This is the first full year. So it's a little bit different than the last one. So I had the community meetings for Ward 1 in the spring and in the fall, and had a number of departments there. So it was very informative for the residents. So thanks to all the staff that attended. Really appreciate it. Of course, and the meetings were at the APD. Also, we had the town hall meetings for Ward 1 and 10. We kicked it off, and looks like half the council attended. So thanks for coming. It was good. I was pleased that Ward 1 was well represented at that meeting. And we have quite a few grand openings, LCFS on Farnsworth, Exquisite Skillet on Farnsworth, Earth Movers redid their space on Farnsworth. Trendia is in Ward 1, and it's a very nice building. It's a lot of nice things if you're interested in buying some artisan type of things. Also, they have clothing. So I was very pleased to be able to attend that. Also, we had the grand opening for Buffalo Wild Wings Go on Butterfield, and also Panda Express also on Butterfield. So there's a lot going on with respect to new businesses in Ward 1. And we had the Ward 1 Cleanup Day. It's a very popular event, and we had four trucks, so it helped to move the line and not have a long line. So that was a good thing. And of course, thanks to the volunteers, and we always got people from the ward that you know, and it's nice to say hello to them. So it was a very nice day. The weather cooperated. It was able to attend a lot of parades, and of course, many of you attend these as well. So, these are very fun events. St. Patrick's Day, very cold day, Pride Parade, July 4th. I was there with the Knights of Columbus, but the Grand Marshal is a Ward 1 resident, so that was very, very, very pleased to be represented that way. And Veterans Day, another cold day, so you got to bundle up for these things. And it's nice to attend that event, even though if it's one of the cold ones. Fiestas Patrias, that was always a fun event, and it was much better weather, and so it was good to see that back being offered again in the community. National Night Out is always a challenge because trying to make as many events as you can in the ward. So Pigeon Hill Neighbors, they had a good turnout there. You can see some of the city staff that came out. the Northeast Community group as well. Great turnout for both of these events. Appreciate all the staff coming out to that, and everybody had a great time. And also one last one, National Night Out event, the Carillon group, and they had a great turnout, and so I was able to make that one before it got dark. So trying to make all three before it gets dark is a challenge. So I put these out here because just to show that there's a very active community in Ward 1, and they're all these events are well attended. I had the first annual Ward 1 Fall Harvest Fest. This is a fun event. Angela Collier twisted my arm, convincing me that we needed to do this. It was a twofer because it was also an opportunity for kids to sign up for Toys for Tots. And so we went through 100 pumpkins and lots of pizza and pies, and so this year be bigger and better. We had the 5th annual Back to School Bash, the SIA sorority, led by Jasmine Lamas. This was their 5th annual, and so great turnout. They gave away more than 400 school kits for kids coming, getting ready for going back to school. So this is a great event. It was a hot day, and so we're looking forward to doing that again in August. And the Shred Day, we had a great location. We only had one truck. Maybe we could have gotten by with half a truck. But this coming year, we're going to be partnering with Second Ward. Hopefully that'll drive up more attendance, but it's well worth it. And just attended some other things. The Law Enforcement Youth Academy, they invited me to speak to the students, so that was a great time. Also attended their picnic. World Meditation Day. This was another fun event, and hopefully this was something that we can spread throughout the community. So this was, and then we had Toys for Tots dinner. So the Collier Community Center has been putting this on for several years, and kids come out, the families come out and get the toys at that event, and also they have food and other activities. And the year starts out with Leonard's Avenue. At the beginning of the year, we were taking down the Christmas display, and then in December we're putting it back up. So here's a picture of some of the volunteers, and we put up that Christmas display, which is a big part of the display along with the manger and all the different houses that participate. So that's a cool event, and I think it's one of the highlights of Ward 1. So I wanted to share that. And then this is just a snippet of the Ward 1 expenditures, printing and postage, events, grants, and the big spends have been so far the feedback radar speed signs, and also a program through RTA with a home repair on High Street, and with the participating with one of the HOAs where they had a fence put up for safety in their neighborhood. And so this year we're hoping to spend more money out of the ward. So next year we'll be doing the similar events. We're adding some new things. The Easter Bunny event will be new, and also Coffee with the Alderman, and looking at the Art in the Park, hoping to partner with APEC. So that's all I got.
Excellent job.
Yay, Danny boy.
Okay, thank you, Alderman Barrero. Next, we're in need of a closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Open Meetings Act, Section 2C11 to discuss pending litigation, and Section 2C2 to discuss collective bargaining. Do I have a motion to enter into a closed session and therefore adjourn the committee of the whole meeting with no further action or public business to take place for the purpose of this meeting? Motion made by Alderwoman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Barrero?
Yes.
Garza?
Yes.
Masiacos?
Yes.
Nunez?
Yes.
Franco?
Yes.
Seville?
Yes.
Benuelos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bug?
Yes.
Bade?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. We will enter executive session at time of 6:32 p.m.